wants me to thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 KDVA Reunion and Korea-U.S. Alliance and Veterans Conference. Thank you for joining us here on a Saturday morning. So, we really want to thank the Korean Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs for sponsoring the KDVA Reunion. We're talking about everything. The venue space, the meals, all of the activities that we're doing on this 3-day reunion. The Korean Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs have sponsored and paid for all that, so we really appreciate that. And we also thank our strong partners, the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation, or KUSEF. So you'll hear MPVA and you'll hear KUSEF throughout the day here, and we're very thankful for supporting this event. So let's give MPVA and KUSEF a round of applause. So I am Colonel Retired Steve Lee, the Senior Vice President of KDVA, another acronym, right? And we're very thankful, and I am very honored to serve as the MC for this event. Before I introduce our opening speakers, I would like to make some administrative information. First of all, this conference is now being recorded, if you didn't know. So we welcome that you're going to be a part of this and living history forever, and it'll be hung on our digital library next week, and also be available on our KDVA YouTube channel. If you feel more comfortable wearing a mask in here or during the breaks, please do so, regardless of your vaccine status. At the entranceway, there's folders, and then inside is a program with all of the bios and the agenda, so you can follow along if you would like. We also appreciate our strong supporters and partners, the Catoosa Veterans Association. If you haven't checked out and you missed their merchandise, they got some really cool stuff. If you have a question about how to use it, please ask Mr. J.W. Kim. So thank you for Catoosa Veterans Association for donating that. There are refreshments throughout today. This is an informal affair. This is an opportunity for us to meet. So if at any time you want to get up and go and get some refreshments, stretch your legs, please do so and don't feel like it's any big deal. So this is the second day. The first day was yesterday. And ladies and gentlemen, we had the great fortune of visiting the Kia assembly plant. It's in West Point, Georgia. Who did not know? Who knew that the Kia plant was here in Georgia? Okay, I didn't know until we found out about this wonderful place. That's one of the reasons why we are here. But fantastic. The CEO gave us a great tour himself and met the group, and we're really thankful. And then we ended the evening at the National Infantry Museum. All right, I gotta tell you, that is an unbelievable museum. I think 5 years in a row voted the best free museum in the United States. And did you know that's in your backyard? So if you didn't know, and if you're watching around the world and you're planning a trip to Georgia, definitely go and stop there. And so we really appreciated the opportunity to see the ultra-modern Kia plant where all of the Tellurides in the world are built, start to finish. And then obviously meeting the great troops of Fort Moore. So here's the agenda for today. We will start with opening remarks from General Scaparrotti and General Lim, and then we'll go to what last year was the highlight, and that was the Korea veteran stories. People telling you their experiences and sharing, and then you being able to interact with them with Q&A. Then the KDVA Networking Forum, where our partners will get an opportunity to tell their story about how they support the Alliance and veterans. And then we go into lunch, be served, and we'll hear from Senator Warnock and the Georgia Commissioner for Veterans Service, Commissioner Patricia Ross. Then we'll have 2 separate panels this afternoon, and we will close with the first annual KDVA and KUSEF Honors Banquet. So look forward to seeing everybody here back for that as well. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the Chairman and President of the Korea Defense Veterans Association, General Retired Curtis Mike Scaparrotti. He is a former commander of the United Nations Command, Combined Forces Command, U.S. Forces Korea, and so we are very thankful to have him here. So, sir.
Well, it's my privilege this morning as the president of KDVA, and along with our great sponsor, MPVA, and also our great supporter and partner, KUSAF, to welcome you this morning. I'll use the acronyms. I think Steve got you ready for that, for MPVA and KUSAF, but we much appreciate their support. And we welcome you, whether you're a member, a partner, a sponsor, a supporter, to this reunion. It's great to be here in Atlanta, Georgia. We just had a great day yesterday and representative of what Georgia offers. Now, we selected Georgia because of its strong connections to Korea and to its veterans. This is a huge and active Korean American community here, and we've seen that and we've heard about it at Kia, for instance, yesterday. And many companies like Kia, Hanwha, SK are here and call Georgia home. So it's a perfect place really for us to have this reunion this year. We also realize there's over 690,000 veterans that call Georgia home. Another reason for KDVA to be active here. We have a great chapter here with Kevin Miller as the president right here. And he's done a lot of work along with the chapter members to make the connections that we need to make and helps us strengthen the alliance. Today you're going to hear personal reflections from veterans, partners, and supporting companies about what they do, what their memories were, and how they support the alliance and our veterans. That's very important to us. You'll have two panels, which Steve mentioned, which focus on veterans and diplomats working together for the alliance. How does that work? What are the important issues? And hopefully we can get into some informative issues with you as well, and you'll find it interesting. Now, I'm not going to leave this stage without tackling and taking the opportunity to talk to you just momentarily about my top priority, okay? And my top priority is growing this organization, is growing KDVA. We now have over 9,000 members. We're doing great this year. We're growing this year at a very good pace. But it's people like you in this room that can help us reach that goal. So I encourage you, as you go out today and you leave from this reunion this weekend, with those who you meet, veterans you know, those who love Korea, introduce them to KDVA, okay? Tell them about our organization, because as we grow, we are much more effective in strengthening the alliance and supporting our veterans. So please do that for me. We've got about, I think it's 5.1 million U.S. service members who have served in or are serving in Korea today. So that is our potential. And even though we can be proud about growing quickly and getting to 9,000 here, that's far from what we can be. So give us a hand on that, and it's a great deal, as they say. It's free. Okay. Now, again, I want to thank MPVA for being the sponsor of this event. They're the ones that made everything that you're seeing and we're doing, the meals that we eat, possible. We appreciate that, and we appreciate KUSAF's support in making this happen as well, for they're very integral to what we do here in the States as KDVA. In a moment, you'll hear from their President, General Lim Ho-young, my brother, as we say. We served together in Korea, and I'm excited about him presenting here for you today. So again, thank you all for coming. Your presence makes a difference, and we hope that you leave here informed and excited about being a member of KDVA and helping us grow this organization. So with that, I think we're going to introduce General Lim. So have a great day. I look forward to talking to each other.
Okay, so as the boss said, we're really thankful again for KUSAF and the unbelievable job they do for fundraising for KDVA. And the president is General Lim Ho-young, and the reason I'm smiling is I had the opportunity to serve with him as well, and he's just a fantastic warfighter and gentleman. He is former Deputy Commander of Combined Forces Command, and we really appreciate that he flew all the way from Korea to be with us here. Sir, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm retired General Lim Ho-young, the former deputy commander of CFC and the current president of KUSHAP since this May following the General Jong Sung-jo. This is the first time to visit Georgia and Atlanta. It's a very beautiful place. Thank you very much, especially thank you for Sonny Bach for your kind welcome. Thank you very much. I'm very happy and honored to participate to this reunion event in Atlanta dedicated for the U.S. service members who served in Korea. It is also great to be with my old friend and brother. Scaparati, General Scaparati was my boss when I served at CFC as a Major General and his Deputy C3. So I called General Scaparati as my big brother. In Korean, we called it 형님. He is my 형님. So Korean means big brother. So I call General Scaparati, no. And as you know well, the Republic of Korea was a new nation founded on the liberal democracy as the nation's core value on 50th against 1948 after World War II. Between 1950 and 1953, we were invaded by North Korean communists, triggered by Soviet Union, which led to the numerous deaths of lives and the loss of properties and landscape. If without the timely assistance from the United Nations led to the United States, Korea we know today would not have survived. From Korean War, more than 100,000 UN soldiers were killed or wounded in action, including around 32,000 United States servicemen killed in action. With their sacrifice, Korea was able to overcome the war and crisis. Since the signature of the ROK-US Mutual Defense Treaty, effective as of 1st October 1953, more than 3.2 million US troops served in Korea to date. And around 10 of them were sacrificed from North Korean provocations. However, Korea continued to develop thanks to the continuous support and aid of the United States and the friendly nations founded on the ROK and US alliance, and led to fruition of liberal democracy with the 10th largest economy and the 6th strongest military in the world. This was possible thanks to the robust foundation of the ROK-US alliance and the sacrifice of the US forces Korea gathered here today. Once again, on behalf of the Korean people, I thank you very much for your service. 감사합니다. KUSHAP and KDVA were founded in 2017 to cherish the spirit of the alliance and promote for better tomorrow. Although it has been only 6 years, both organizations continue to grow and today became representative organization, signifying the robust ROK-US alliance in both countries. I express my gratitude for the dedications of the past President, General Sharp, General Bruce, and the current President, Scaparati, as well as all the members of KDVA members, especially including Vice President Steve Lee. KUSHAP's main mission is to support activities of KDVA with the funding collected from donations of Korean businessmen and people who want to increase the importance of the alliance and express our thanks to the dedication that the U.S. has shown for Korea. At this beginning, it's difficult. However, the support is increasing now. KUSHAF will continue to try the best to support of Cordoba. The national security environment in Far East is not stable. China's latent expansionist policy poses many threats to their neighbors, whereas North Korea continues to escalate nuclear and missile threat. Therefore, the solidity of the ROK-US alliance has ever become more important. Fortunately, the new Korean government under President Yoon Suk-yeol emphasizing strengthening the alliance as always augmenting the trilateral cooperation among Korea, US, and Japan. There was a historical three-party summit in Camp David in last August. It was a truly meaningful progress and shall continue to promoting overall order in the region. KUSHAF will put every effort for the ROK-US alliance to become more robust and developed. As my last remark, I want to bring to the point that we called our alliance is a blood-tied alliance. Our grandfathers fought shoulder to shoulder in Korea. Our uncles worked there for each other in Vietnam. And our brothers united again in Afghanistan and Iraq. We were always on the same side, shoulder to shoulder, facing the same challenges with blood, sweat, and tears. This is the spirit of our alliance, and we will never forget in the past and present. We have done so. And in the future, we will continue to shout out that we go together. 같이 갑시다. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's a great way to open up with very meaningful opening remarks from both the presidents of KDVA and KUSEF. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to go into the first part of our reunion. And like I was saying, the feedback from last year's reunion was this was the highlight. Because we're about to hear 5 fantastic speakers who will give their individual stories about their experiences with Korea. We had the spouse of a Korea defense veteran, several Korea defense veterans spanning several decades. So this is the heart of the KDVA reunion because it is about the people who make up the alliance, as both of our presidents said, and that's you, the veterans, and our supporters. So let's hear their stories. Most of their speakers will talk for about 10 minutes, and then they'll take your questions. So think about them, if you have any questions, because, hey, maybe it's an experience that you shared, or maybe your experience was totally opposite from what they were talking about. And so the microphones are available for you right there if you would like to make any comments or ask any questions. And again, we really appreciate and welcome engaging with our audience members. So with that, let's start our first speaker, and that is Mr. Wayne McGarry. He is a defense veteran from the 1980s. Sir.
Welcome to Atlanta. Glad y'all are here. It was an honor to be asked to do this, to speak to you guys, to kind of tell y'all some of my experiences as a young 20-year-old PFC first station, duty station in Korea. Grew up in rural Mississippi, semi-rural Mississippi, so it was very eye-opening when I got into country. I was there from August of '87 to August of '88. I was stationed with the 7th Cavalry Delta Troop out of LaGuardia, Camp LaGuardia in Weejumbu. The first year, and I will kind of tell y'all my story here. A little disappointed when I got orders to Korea, but we grew up, my dad and mom taught us that, the only thing you can control in life is your actions and your attitude. And if you can go anywhere with a good attitude and have a great time, and go anywhere with a bad attitude and be miserable. So going into Korea, after they said, after I got my orders from Fort Rucker, headed there. Look back to that and the stuff that was instilled in us as a kid. Okay, I'm going to Korea, said and done. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to make the best of it and have a good time. And I did, had a great time. So with that, like I said, we got in country in '87, stationed there in Weijambu. And one of the first things I did when I got there, I was put on gate guard for about the first month I was there because we were shorthanded. And I got to form a good bond with one of the Katusas that was in the unit that was getting ready to transition out of service. He was on the gate as well, and he was there for about 3 months, 3 or 4 months before he actually transitioned out. And like I said, got to form a bond with him. And throughout the rest of the year that I was there, I'd get a 3 or 4 day pass about once a month, and I'd go down and spend some time with him and his family in Seoul. I'd stay with them for the weekend, and he would take me all over Seoul. So I got to see a whole lot of Seoul that are non-tourist areas through the eyes of him and his family, and just had the best time whatsoever. Steve, you want to run through some of the pictures, please? Here's some of the pictures and places that he took me. I've pulled out my photo album, and some of these are still there. So I know the one on the bottom left there, bottom right, I should say, is the zoo. I couldn't tell you what the other one is, or where a lot of these photographs were, but I do know that just forming that bond with him and getting to see Korea through his eyes. And like I said, I left in August of '88, which was about 3 weeks before the Olympics started. So my experience there was watching the peninsula change over that last year before the Olympics started. Seeing the pride in the Korean people, seeing, the world start shining their light even brighter on the Korea Peninsula. It was just watching them transform and taking that pride in their country was just incredible. And every time we went somewhere, people were just so hospitable, just so friendly and open. And and I don't have pictures here, but one of the favorite memories, we used to go to the OB tour factory, brewery factory tour. We probably did that 3 times. The tour was fine, but the fun part was getting to the end, not the beer tasting. And I can regale y'all stories of a lot of drinking. But when we get there, there would be a lot of the older Korean War veterans in there. And just sitting and talking with them and their appreciation for us being there and what we did and what the U.S. did. And they were so hospitable. They just could not thank us enough for being there and for still being there in that day, which was, like I said, the late '80s. So Steve, you want the next one? Here are a few more places that we went that he took me into Korea. I think there's about 3 slides here, Steve. So again, here's the airfield. Like I said, I was in aviation, so we had Cobras and 58s and Blackhawks there in LaGuardia. And one of the interesting pictures there is the one in the lower right. That's a range day. And it's hard, Cobras out there flying, firing the 20 millimeters. And you can't really see it in that picture. You're zoomed in, but there's a bunch of Korean families down there collecting the brass on the range. So that was pretty neat to talk. We were supposed to keep them off, but it was kind of hard when they overrun you. So, and then I've got a picture of a 58 through a Cobra telescopic sight unit there. Go ahead, Steve. So here's a picture of Google Earth images of LaGuardia. The top right is the image the latest image as of today. LaGuardia is down on the lower right side of the picture there. And the other image is from the early 2000s, and you can still kind of see where the airfield is. And downtown Weijambu is just south of there, so it was within walking distance. So I think that's probably the last slide. It might be another one, Steve. Yeah, there's a few more pictures of some of the places that he took me in different events that we saw throughout the year that I spent tagging along with him. So I was hoping to find, I went through a lot of pictures, hoping to find pictures of him, and I couldn't find any. So I know I got a lot of pictures still put somewhere, squirreled away somewhere that I need to dig through. So, but like I said, I had a great time. Like I said, the attitude, with just opening my heart and opening my mind to the people, and could not have been a better experience for me in country. So with that, is there any questions? Anybody got questions? Anything? I know I didn't take my 10 minutes, but yes, sir.
What's one individual memory that you have, something special that, you took the leap of bonding with this Katusa, which was the best ambassador we have to being in country. But what's one of the most memorable experiences of going to their home, being invited into their home? Is there something that stands out or something unique?
I don't know that I can remember any one thing that stands out other than the fact that they opened their doors to me and invited me in and just really treated me like I was there as a family member almost, to be honest with you. More so than just somebody they were bringing into their house. Yes, sir.
Do you still have that relationship today? Do you still talk and email?
I wished I would have. But as you know, in '88, things were a whole lot harder to keep track of people. That's why I was hoping to dig through stuff and see if I could find some information. If it was the day of the email and Facebook back then, it definitely would have kept it. I wished I had.
Well, if you want to consider with Katusa's, you made it going to me. You will see this is our
I saw that, sir.
if you can figure out, we have about 11,000 members actually on the list. So we have a database of people that we can track down.
If I find the name, I'm definitely going to try to find it. So thank you, sir.
Oh,
It's on, Steve.
okay. So have you had a chance to go back to Korea since you left?
I have not. My wife, I always talk to Korea, my late wife. We always wanted to go, and that was a trip that we planned to take. Unfortunately, she passed away before we could make that happen. And but I always talk to her about my fond memories in Korea, and she always wanted to go back, she always wanted to go, and fortunately, we never made that happen. My daughter's 20 now, and she's heard these stories growing up as well. So that ultimately, one day, that is a trip that we'll take together. Thank you.
All righty. Okay, so hey, I want to just tell you. So I had an opportunity to meet Wayne for the first time here right before this. He was like, "Oh man, I got nothing to say. Sorry, if, it's not going to be good." So this is the problem with a lot of our veterans. They're just very humble. They don't think their story is worth sharing. But one of the big missions of KDVA is to go and reach, like General Scaparrotti said, 5.1 million Americans and 11 million Koreans who have served, to please encourage them to share their stories. Because each story is different and unique and is important. And so I was sitting there because he was totally underselling it. I was going, oh, okay, let's see, I'm worried about Wayne. Man, that was fantastic. Okay, so we really appreciate it. So Wayne, thank you very much. One other thing I will say, we're very thankful for MPVA for sponsoring the Korea Revisit program for Korea defense veterans. They have been sponsoring Korea Revisit programs for Korean war veterans for decades. But this is the third year that they have sponsored it, and we again appreciate KUSEF for making that linkage so that MPVA will this year, next week, in Korea, sponsor 50 Korea defense veterans and their plus ones to give 4-star plus treatment. It is unbelievable what the Korean government and people do. So the reason I tell you that, Wayne, and everybody else is please apply, okay, if you haven't, because you can certainly apply and hopefully get selected and take your daughter, because again, I think that's just wonderful. Thank you so much. So our next speaker is Samuel Peck. He is Reserve Service Christian Soldiers Association President, military service private for 3 years, and then an officer for 13. So let's please welcome Samuel, ladies and gentlemen. And he will use an interpreter. No obstacles.
충성!
Loyalty.
한미동맹 70주년이 되는 뜻깊은 해를 맞이해서 이렇게 KDVA가 이곳에서 저희들을 초대해 주셔서 여러분들과 함께 자리를 하게 돼서 무한한 영광으로 생각하고 감회가 깊습니다.
It's a great honor, and I'm very thankful for being invited to this wonderful event to promote alliance between Korea and the U.S. Veterans.
저는 1963년부터 1985년까지 25년 동안 대한민국 육군에서 사병생활 3년, 하사관 생활 7년, 장교생활 15년을 군 복무를 하는 가운데서 특별히 63년부터 65년까지는 미 군사 고문단, 한국에 파견되어 있는 미군 무대 K맥에서 카투사 요원으로 근무를 했고,
From 1963 to 1985, for 25 years, I've served in the Korean military. And I was a private for 3 years and an officer for dozens of years. And first, from 1963 to 1965, I served as a KDVA in the U.S. unit.
그 당시에 이 K맥의 사령관은 소장 메이저 제너럴 옌 씨가 소장으로 계셨고, 우리 카투사들이 3,000명이 각 지역에서 미군들과 같이 복무를 했습니다.
At the time, the Major General, we served under Major General Yancey, and there were 3,000 of us KDVAs in the U.S. Interacting with the U.S. military.
특별히 그렇게 군대 생활하는 가운데 65년 통킹만 사태로 월남 사태로 미군이 개입하게 돼서 저 역시 월남에 파병할 것을 결심해가지고 66년 6월부터 68년 12월까지 3년 동안을 월남에서 미군들과 더불어서 함께 생사고락을 같이 했습니다.
And in 1965, the Vietnam War conflict happened, and that's when I decided that I must participate in that as well. So I served in Vietnam from 1966 through 1968 for 3 years.
그 당시 베트남에 주둔한 미군 사령은 웨스트모일랜드 장군이었고, 우리 한국군 사령관은 그 유명한 최명신 사령관이 지휘관으로 계셨습니다.
At the time, the U.S. forces was commanded by General Westmore, and the Korea was commanded by General Choi, the famous General Choi.
월남 복무를 마치고 귀국해 가지고 다시 이제 육군 제3사관학교 가서 장교로 임관을 해갖고 15년 동안의 복무를 하면서 부관 장교 소령으로 예편을 했습니다.
And after the Vietnam War, I came back to Korea, attended the military academy, and became an officer and served as an officer for 15 years.
예. 군복무를 마친 후 하나님께서 특별한 기회를 주셔서 1988년부터 2013년까지 캘리포니아 로스앤젤레스에서 미합중국 감리교 선교사로 활동을 했습니다.
And after my military career, I was called by God to serve Him. So from 1988 to 2000 to currently, I served as a pastor in a church in California.
특별히 캘리포니아에서 선교사로 근무를 하는 동안에 한국전 참전 50주년을 기념해서 이 6.25 참전에 대한 책자를 제가 5,000권을 만들어 가지고 그 당시 다 보고를 했습니다. 이 책자 안에는 6.25 참전 시작한 것부터 우리 미군과 참전 16개국 용사들이 한국에서 싸웠던 기록이 여기 다 기록이 돼 있었습니다.
And to commemorate the 50-year anniversary of the Korean War, I published this booklet, and I published 5,000 copies. This tells the story from beginning to end of the Korean War and the U.S. participation in the Korean War.
특별히 6.25 참전 가운데서 가장 잊을 수 없는 사건은 우리 대한민국이 낙동강까지 후퇴해서 완전히 이제 대한민국이 멸망 직전에 제네럴 메가더 장군이 9월 10월 인천 상륙작전을 실시해가지고 전세를 회복해서 다시 수도 서울을 회복하고 수도 서울에 중앙천에 다시 태극기를 걸고 이승만 대통령으로 하여금 대한민국의 대통령을 제대로 할 수 있도록 대한민국의 은인으로서 우리 메가더 장군의 가장 존경을 받은 분으로 잊을 수 없는 기록이 있습니다.
And the most critical event during the entire war happened when the Allied forces was backed up into the tiny corner in the southern Korea, and we were about to get annihilated when General MacArthur did the landing in Incheon, which totally changed the projection of the war. He freed the Seoul and put the Korean flag in Seoul and greeted the President Syngman Rhee. That is the without doubt the most critical event in Korean War.
제가 캘리포니아 LA에서 30년 동안 선교사 생활을 할 때는 KDVA라든가 여기 그런 조직이 없었습니다. 단 우리 이제 6.25 참전 용사들이 모두가 기억을 했지만은 KDVA라든가 이거 코리안 워 버트런스 이런 단체들이 없었는데 제가 6년 전에 여기 아틀란타에 오니까 KDVA라는 단체가 있고 또 다른 두 단체가 있는 것을 발견했습니다.
So the 30 years that I was in California, there was no association or get-together for Korean veterans. And 6 years ago, when I came to Georgia, I found out that there was KDVA and other such organizations, and that was very exciting to find out.
그래서 이 조지아에 와가지고도 건국 대통령과 메가더 장군을 잊을 수가 없어서 기도하는 가운데 3년 전에 이승만 대통령 기념사업회를 아틀란타에 창설을 하고 작년에는 에쿠스라에서 한미연합회를 또 이 아틀란타에서 창설을 했습니다.
And I was never able to forget the feats that was performed by General MacArthur and Syngman Rhee. And I wanted to commemorate what had happened at that time. So 3 years ago, I started a association to commemorate that event.
예, 특별히 아틀란타에는 12개의 우리 대한민국과 미국을 살아가는 애국 단체 조직이 있습니다.
In Atlanta, there are 12 organizations that love the alliance between the Korea and the U.S.
제가 속해 있는 단체는 예비역 기독군인의 KVMCF, 그 다음에 이승만 건국 대통령 기념사업회, 그 다음에 아쿠수 아틀란타 지회 3개 단체에서 제가 부회장 겸 회장 겸 중역을 맡고 있습니다.
And I serve as an officer for 3 of those organizations. One is a Christian veterans organization, and the other one is ACUA, and the last one is the one that I mentioned about the General MacArthur and Sigmund Rhee Commemoration Association.
특별히 금년에 한미동맹 70주년을 기념하는 특별한 해가 돼서 기도하는 가운데 우리 이승만 기념사업회와 아쿠란스 에텔 단체에서 오는 10월 14일 토요일 날 오후 5시에 이승만 건국 대통령과 메가더 장군 동상 건립 추진을 위해서 기금 모금 행사를 실시하도록 오늘 조선일보에 이렇게 광고가 되고 다음 주에 3군데 신문에 또 다시 광고가 되겠습니다.
And we are doing a fundraising to make a statue where General MacArthur and Sigmund Rhee is shaking hands at the end of at the time when the landing happened in Incheon, and we have took out ads in Korean newspapers to tell folks about the fundraising event that is scheduled for October 14th.
이 행사의 강사로는 오레곤주에서 주 상하 야구 의원을 3번이나 지내신 임용근 의원께서 오셔가지고 강사로 초대를 했는데 이분은 특별히 오레곤주에다가 메가더 장군 기념 동상을 세우신 분인 이번에 강사로 오셔서 우리도 그분의 이 동상을 세우는데 도전을 받도록 하는 그런 이벤트가 있습니다.
And the keynote speaker is the congressman, former Congressman Lim, who served as a congressman for Oregon for 3 terms, and he actually is responsible for putting up a statue of General MacArthur in Oregon.
그래서 이 14일 날 이 행사를 기획하면서 여기 협찬하는 단체로 우리 KDVA와 2 단체 이름을 여기다 올려놨습니다.
And KDVA is also a sponsor, along with 2 other associations for our fundraiser.
다시 이제 연락이 드리겠습니다마는 10월 14일 여기 계신 분들이 많이 좀 참석을 해 주셨으면 대단히 감사하겠습니다.
I would love it and be very thankful if some of you that's present here can attend and help with that fundraiser on October 14th.
이렇게 워싱턴에서까지 이곳에 오셔서 오늘 이렇게 여러분들과 같이 자리를 같이 할 수 있게 해주시고 초대를 해주셔서 대단히 감사합니다.
And some of you came from all over the country, some from Washington, and I thank you very much for inviting me and have me attend.
이상입니다. 땡큐. 감사합니다. 예, any question? Can you describe the relationship between the U.S. and the Republic of Korea soldiers while you served?
옛날에 군대 생활 하셨을 때 그 본인과 미군들 사이의 관계가 어땠는지 좀.
카츄사로 제가 근무를 했을 때에 사령관은 제너럴 얀시였고 제가 캄베트 암센터에서 미군사 고문단 코널 크라우드 거기 파견단장하고 같이 근무를 했는데
Like I said,
너무나도
while I served as a Katusa for a few years and under General Yancey and
코널 크라우드 캄베트 암센터 애드바이저 그룹 치프
Colonel Croder, who was a combat center advisor.
그곳이 바로 오늘날 그 대한민국에서 가장 좌파들이 유명 활동한 광주에가 그 전투교육병과 사령부가 있었는데
That's where the Gwangju event happened in the 80s. That's where we served.
거기에는 기갑학교, 보병학교, 포병학교가 있어가지고 우리 미군사 고문단들이 오셔가지고 교육 훈련할 때 쓰는 모든 장비라든가 사격할 때 탄약이라든가 이런 것을 다 우리 고문단들이 그 지도를 해줘서 훌륭한 장교들이 양성하게 됐고 그 당시에 그 모셨던 분들 가운데 지금도 미국에까지 와가지고 세 분을 지금까지도 제가 같이 계속 교제를 하고 있습니다.
And that's where multiple divisions of the U.S. military's equipment was stored, and that was where the military members got trained to use those equipments. And even now, the people that led that unit, I still communicate with them and still follow them in the U.S.
So, sir, how did your service in the military affect your decision to go into ministry?
군대 생활에 무슨 이유로 그 목사님 생활을 하게 됐어요?
예, 제가 미 군사 고문단 카투사로 있을 때는 제 MOS가 중화기 보병 기관총 사수였습니다. 카투사로 있을 때는. 그런데
When I was serving as a Katusa, my job was artillery, the automatic rifle.
그런데 제가 월남에 파병을 지원하니까 코널 크로우드 그 우리 고문단 치프가 보병으로 가면 월남에 가면 죽는다. 그러면서 저 MOS를 군종 사병으로 MOS를 군종 사병으로 군종 차프린 어시스턴트로 MOS를 클로우드의 고문단장이 바꿔줬습니다.
And when I volunteered to go to the Vietnam War, Colonel Kroger told me that if you go as a soldier shooting guns, then you're going to die. So he advised me, recommended that I go as an army chaplain.
그래서 월남전에 가서는 군종 사병으로 근무를 했는데 월남의 월남의 군사의학교를 6개월간 졸업하고서 포로 신문을 하는 인터프리터로 MIG에서 근무를 했습니다.
And I worked 6 months. This is after I went to the military academy for 6 months, and I served as an interpreter during interrogation of POW.
그래서 가는 곳마다 이렇게 같은 미군 모시는 상관들과 동료들의 도움을 받아서 제가 군대 생활을 그렇게 23년 동안이나 무사히 잘 마칠 수가 있었습니다.
And with the help of U.S. military officers that I've served, I was able to complete my 23-year military career safely.
다시 한번 말씀드리면 저는 군번이 3번 바뀌었습니다. 사병 군번, 하사관 군번, 장군 3번 바뀌는 동안마다 도와주신 우리 미군 우리 전우들이 너무나도 큰 도움을 줘서 제가 오늘 이렇게 여기 와서도 계속 그 은혜를 잊지 않고 이렇게 지금 이번에도 메가더 장군 동상과 이승만 대통령이 악수하는 동상을 아틀란타에 세우도록 준비를 했습니다.
And as I said, I served in 3 different roles. First as a private, then as a middle officer, and as an officer during my military career. And at each stage, that I was helped tremendously by the U.S. Military personnel. So I was so deeply grateful that I am doing all this. I'm doing whatever I can as far as the General MacArthur is concerned.
특별히 금년에 한미동맹 70주년을 맞이해서 우리 여기 KDVA 구호가 같이 갑시다인데 정말로 우리 그동안에 우리 미군 참전 용사들이 70년 동안 대한민국을 지켜주고 지금까지도 대한민국을 위해서 도와주신 것에 대해서 다시 한번 감사를 드립니다.
And it's 70 years of our alliance, and I am truly grateful. And I want to say a heartfelt thank you to the U.S. military men for their assistance with Korea.
감사합니다. 예, 감사합니다.
All righty, man, I tell you, I have never heard someone with Mr. Peck's background. That was tremendous. I really appreciate that. General Scaparrotti is giving each of our speakers a large KDVA coin as a small token of our appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Mr. David Shim. He is also a Korea veteran, former commander of the 625th. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome David Shim. Oh, yeah, he's waving off the interpreter, yeah.
Everybody, good morning. My name is David Sim, and I am Korean War veteran. I was born 1930. Hello. Good morning to all our friends and to many friends we have met today. In America and Korea, sadly, the Korea War is remembered as the forgotten war. We veterans, however, see it as the forgotten victory, as do the Korean people. All the years have gone by, the Korea War veteran numbers become few and few. This is why it is important that we gather together to make sure that our achievement and our sacrifice for freedom are not forgotten. As it is often said, freedom is not free. Freedom is a greater reward, but a reward that requires greater sacrifice. We should remember that the American and the Korean people alliance is forever. United we stand, divided we fall. Amen? Everybody stand up. Grace of Jesus Christ, love of Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen. Sit down, please. Thank you. No more question.
Okay. Sir, so when did you come to the United States, and why did you come?
1969. I came Dallas, Texas. And Grace Bible College study, and I go back Seoul, Korea, and set up church and middle school and principal. And then come again, 1974, Chicago. I'm missionary, 10 years experience there. And then I came married, near Los Angeles. And then I come back 12 years ago, Atlanta. Now I am president of veteran. That's it. Do you have more, sir? Thank you. Yeah.
You are amazing, sir. So I have one question. What's your diet? You look great. I want to live as healthy as you are.
음식을 무엇을 드시길래 이렇게 건강하시고 이렇게
Oh, God bless us. I will go next month, November 6th. Our Korea president invited for me. American veteran, Korean veteran, all gathered together in Seoul. And then I come back November 29, Atlanta. Well, more 있죠? That's okay? May God bless you all over.
Okay, if that doesn't get you fired up, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what will. That's wonderful. I appreciate it when our speakers have audience participation like that. Get up and get your blood flowing. That was fantastic. So thank you again, sir. Okay, hey, Cecilia, this is going to be tough to follow this. So Cecilia is a family member of a veteran. She participated in the 2021 Korea Revisit program. So if you're interested in that, please go see her and Kevin, who is her husband. So Cecilia, thank you, please. Thank you.
Good morning. That was hard to follow. You guys are so good. Well, my name is Cecilia Miller. I am married to Kevin Miller, and I'm a veteran wife. So our journey together started when he just transitioned out of the U.S. Army from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and moved to Atlanta, Georgia. He did not want to go back to the north because it was cold, so he moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So our journey is, he always wanted to serve and continue. So he always told me that. So when I got a call one afternoon before Thanksgiving asking for a donation, I asked the representative of the Georgia Veterans Day Association, I asked, well, of course we'll donate, but do you need our services as well? So within the hour, the president, Marvin Myers, calls me back and say, of course, you need to attend our meeting next week and we'll get you in. So that was 23 years ago, and we are still part of the Georgia Veterans Day Association. The programs have evolved to what it is now with many events for November 11, Veterans Day. Now, I tell you this because all family members. And so his parents come every year for the last 20 years helping with the parade. And they would come 3 weeks and we would make them work anything. Pick up that, make lanyards, anything. So they would work for 3 weeks before the parade and they would drive every year. And not only that, all my siblings, nieces and nephews have served in various capacities. They have been parade marshals, they have been anything that we ask them to do. And also, beware, because family friends are also recruited to help out in any way capacity. It's been very rewarding, and what the intangible is a lot of friends that we have met along the way are very dear friends from up until now. And a rewarding gift through all this journey is when Kevin was selected for the 2021 KDVA Revisit program. He had talked so much about his tour in Korea in 1991, where he served a one-year tour at Camp Graves. So we went, and I accompanied him, and it was just a fantastic experience. The beauty of Korea was evident, but most importantly, the warmth and the hospitality of the Korean people. Oh yes, I do have some slides. So this is one of the intangibles of working with the veterans community here in Atlanta, and such a wonderful people. We have wonderful people that came in as Grand Marshal, and that's General Mick Kicklighter. And then, of course, with the National Guard as partners too, I got to ride a helicopter, a Black Hawk helicopter just recently. So that was awesome. Next slide, please. So this is Kevin in Camp Graves. And he has such fun memories of it. Like Wayne said, it's like, you know, he talked about this all the time. And so me and my daughter have always said, we should go to Korea. And we've always planned to doing that and never gone until the 2021 KDVA Revisit program, which is coming up next year. So there you go. That was such a wonderful, wonderful experience. Not only is Korea so beautiful, but what struck me is the warmth and hospitality of the Korean people. Who else would bring us over and give us a whole VIP tour for the whole week? So amazing. So it was such a memorable trip. We loved it so much that we said, okay, we will come back and we'll bring our daughter over. So this past summer, we were there for a week, and we brought our daughter, and next slide, please. Oh, that's more of the Revisit program. So there you go. We were at JSA with our daughter, and my daughter interviewed Kevin when we were crossing the Freedom Bridge on the gondola. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but she was interviewing Kevin on the same site as that picture, so you have the before and after pictures. So that was truly cool, a truly cool experience. So we had such a great experience. It was wonderful to show our daughter the beautiful land and culture that Korea is right now. I have so many pictures like this to show you, but I'm not going to bore you with this. But again, it's a wonderful trip to visit Korea under the this year and before on the 2021 KDVA Revisit program. What a wonderful program. So I guess that's it. I want to say thank you for listening to my story.
So So before you were selected for the revisit program, were you and Kevin together? Did you hear about his stories because you were together, or was it hearing in hindsight about when he went to his visit, when he was in Korea originally, were you guys together?
No, no.
Okay.
I only met him after he left the service.
Okay.
When he had left and moved to Atlanta as a civilian. So he applied to the company that I was working for at that time. So
Okay.
that's how we met.
So then was his tour a positive tour?
Absolutely.
You heard about it?
Yes.
Or was
yes.
it a
He
negative
always talked about that and that he would love to go back, and we had always planned to go back. And until COVID happened, we were actually going on 2020. And of course, we had to change plans because of COVID. And he has heard about the KDVA Revisit program in 2021. So he applied for it and was selected.
Oh, okay. That's good. It gives a little bit of context to, what his before thought was to getting selected and then your journey together.
Yes. So I was his plus one.
Well, that's
And I had just joined a new company, so I told my boss, I know I just joined, but I'm taking off.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you.
So with your visit, can you tell us some of the activities, like sort of what was encompassed in the visit and what you enjoyed the most about those activities?
Oh, it's definitely a VIP tour. When we landed at Incheon Airport, there were about 20 people from MPVA waiting for us. And they had wheelchairs. We were the youngest of the group. So they had the wheelchairs for everybody. So we said, no, we would rather walk. And they had the trams, like, oh, I get to ride a tram. So let's go, let's do that. So no one even picked up our bags. Everyone took care of our bags. It was VIP tour. And we were whisked away in the bus to the hotel. And fantastic hotel. The food was great at the hotel. They had a group of tours, people that helped out. So I remember it was raining one day, and they had umbrellas. We didn't even have to walk in the rain. They had umbrellas lined up so that we can get from the entrance to the bus. So it was just wonderful, wonderful people. And actually, some of the tour people are our Facebook friends. So we've kept in touch with them, and absolutely great experience. So I highly recommend it.
Sounds odd to ask my wife a question, but I have to.
What?
Here we go. This wasn't rehearsed or anything. We obviously talked a lot about the trip, but when you think back to the Revisit program, you had never been to Korea before. You'd only heard about it through my stories or my photos and everything else. What was the most, what's that one experience during the Revisit program that really stood out, like a wow moment? And what was the biggest thing that maybe changed, or your thoughts changed, or looked differently after you actually had been in Korea?
When we were driving around, it reminded me of Pennsylvania, when close to Pittsburgh, where you grew up. So I kind of see why you like it, because there's a familiarity to it. It doesn't feel foreign. It feels very familiar being there. The people are just beautiful, warm, and very hospitable. Everyone wants to help you. Of course, the food was great. We always love Korean food. So that's, I guess I took that for granted, that the food would be awesome. For me, it's the care that we were given from beginning to end. And it was sad living. We were all waving to all our tour people, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna miss you, because it seems like, and I guess the best takeaway is the people that we know and kept in touch since then. The tour people, as well as the other revisit people that we are that we're still in contact with. So fabulous experience. Thank you so much.
All right, Cecilia, great job. Really appreciate it. KDVA, family members and anyone interested in the Alliance and our veterans can join as associate members. So please keep that in mind. And again, as General Scout Brady said, membership is free because of the great donation support from KUSEF. So ladies and gentlemen, our final speaker for this section is Chung-Oh Yoon, and he is a Korea veteran, and he currently serving as the chairman of the EB Station Officers Association. So please, let's welcome Mr. Yoon.
멸공!
OT.
언젠가부터 충성하다가 최근에 와선 멸공 이제 구호를 붙이게 됐습니다. 멸공, 공산주의를 멸하자.
So I used to shout the loyalty before, but now I shout 멸공, means let's beat the communist.
저는 군 장교 생활로 11년을 했습니다.
And I served as a officer for 12 years.
11년 장교 생활을 하면서요. 한 2분 내지 3분간에 짧게 얘기를 하고자 합니다.
For 11 years of those 12 years, I
2 minutes?
2-3 minutes I say.
장교 후보생으로 200여 명이 교육을 받았습니다.
As about 200-300 people trained as a candidate for officers.
거기서 세 개 병과로 나누는데 기갑 병과가 있었습니다.
And there's 3 divisions they separate you into.
예, 기갑 병과는 25명이 기갑학교 교육을 받게 됐습니다. 기갑 탱크.
And one of the division, about making about 20-somewhat people, is a tank division.
탱크 교육을 받고 이제 인간을 하게 됩니다. 인간을 인간하기 전에 이 중대장이 물었습니다. 월남전이 한창일 때 인간을 하기가 장교가 되면은 월남을 전쟁에 참여할 의사를 물었습니다.
And now I am ready to serve. And the captain asked us, once you start serving, and this is during the start of the Vietnam War, what are you going to do?
그럴 때 손을 번쩍 들었어요.
So I volunteered.
들고 뒤를 돌아보니까 제 혼자 손을 들었어요.
Then I looked around and I was the only one.
제가 왜 제 혼자 손을 들었느냐 하면요.
The reason I volunteered was
장교가 되게 되면은
in order to be the officer.
우리나라에서는 전쟁에 참여할 길이 없습니다.
There's no way to participate in a war or
그래서 전쟁을 장교 계급장을 달면은 전쟁을 참여하는 장교가 참된 장교라고 생각해서 손을 들었던 것입니다.
And in order for an officer to participate in combat, then I realized that that's how you do it.
예, 그래서 어느 때 이제 월남을 파병됐습니다.
That's why I volunteered.
예, 백마사단에 파병됐습니다. 백마사단, White Horse
Division. I participated in the White Horse Division.
예, 거기서 저는 맹호사단에는 탱크 중대고 백마사단은 장갑차, 수륙양용 장갑차 중대였어요.
And the White Horse Division is where you repair and maintain the tanks.
저희 소대 임무는
And Our division's responsibility was
캄보디아로 통하는 국경 도로를
our responsibility was to
예, 국경 도로를 야간 매복이 아니고 주간 매복을 하는 임무를 받았습니다. 주간 매복, not daytime.
to daytime monitoring of the path between to Cambodia.
그래야만이 일반 상인들이 버스든지 승용차든지 화물차든지 저게 베트콩의 통제를 받지 않고 피습을 받지 않고 교통을 열어주기 위해서 했던 겁니다.
And the reason for that is to make sure there's safe travel for civilians with their vehicles without them being impeded or threatened by Viet Congs.
어느 날 아침에 나가다가
And one morning,
베트콩 기습을 받았습니다.
we got attacked by the Viet Congs.
그래서 우측에 총을 맞았어요.
I got shot in my left shoulder.
그래서 긴급 사단 상황실로 전문을 벌습니다.
So we contacted the emergency communication line,
사단에 미군 적십자 헬기가 있었어요.
and they had the helicopter, attack
예,
helicopter,
헬리콥터, 미군 구급 헬리콥터.
U.S. Emergency helicopter.
헬리콥터가 와서 저를 구출해서 오늘을 살려줬습니다.
And they came and rescued me. That's why I am alive today.
그래서 저는 미군 헬기 조종사에 의해서 저는 구출됐고 그 고마움이 미군에 대한 고마움이 지금도 남아 있습니다.
And so I was rescued by a U.S. Military person bringing the helicopter, and my gratitude still remains.
예, 미군 구급 헬기가 나를 구조해주지 않았으면 오늘 제가 여기 있을 수 없었습니다.
If they did not rescue me, then I would not be alive today.
그리고 귀국해서
And then I came back to Korea,
27사단
27th Division,
디비전에 전차 중대장을 했습니다. 탱크 중대장.
tank maintenance.
예, 그 당시 탱크 중대는요 16대의 탱크를 운영하는 중대장이었습니다.
And I was in charge of 16 tanks.
예, 돈으로 환산하면요 굉장히 큰 많은 돈인데 어쨌든 간에 탱크 중대장을 하고 11년 후에 저는 전역을 했습니다.
And after 11 years,
그리고 이제 미국에 왔어요.
I retired and I came to the U.S.
13년 전에 장교 동호회 5년을 했습니다.
And 13 years ago, we did a officers association for 5 years.
13년 휴무 상태로 있다가
And 13 years of rest.
금년에 다시 장교 동호회를 부활시켰습니다.
I revived the officers association this year
안보 단체로 거듭나기 위해서요.
as a security association.
안보 단체로 거듭나기 위해서요. 안보 단체.
안보
안보.
security.
안보.
Security.
이상입니다.
That's it.
충성.
Hey, sir, first off, thanks for your service in Vietnam and also in Korea.
비엔남이랑 한국에서 서비스를 해주셔서 감사드리고 우선.
예, 감사합니다.
But also more importantly, thanks for your service in tanks. So I'm a career tanker as well.
이분도 탱크 군사래요. 그래서 탱크에 관해서 일해 주셔서 감사하고.
고맙습니다. 예.
Thank you.
So an easy question. What's your favorite tank?
쉬운 질문인데 제일 좋아하시는 탱크가 뭡니까? 무슨 탱크입니까?
그 당시는 패튼 대전차 군단 영화에 나왔는 이 M47 탱크였습니다.
M47, which was featured in the General Patton's movie.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate that. So we're a little ahead of schedule. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just take a 10-minute break, be back here by 10:40. Please have an opportunity to go and shake hands with some of our speakers, interact with them, and we'll be back in here at 10:40. Thank you, everybody.